Vane, Betty Wood, and Sam Zeitlin. Institutional thanks are due to Magdalen College, Oxford, the American Antiquarian Society, the American Philosophical Society, the Arts and Humanities Research Council, the Howard Gottlieb Archive Center at Boston University, the Dietrich von Bottsteiber Institute, Bowdoin College Museum of Art, the Cambridge Faculty of History, Cambridge University Library, the William L. Clements Library, the Detroit Institute of Arts, the Historical Society of Pennsylvania, the Library Company of Philadelphia, the Horton Library at Harvard University, the Library of Congress, the Massachusetts Historical Society, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Musée Pascal Paoli, the Museum of the City of New York, the Museum of Fine Arts, Museums Victoria, the Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery, the New York Historical Society, the New York Public Library, the Omohundro Institute of Early American History and Culture, the Peabody Essex Museum, the F. Garner Ranney Archives of the Episcopal Diocese of Maryland, the Seeley Historical Library, Trinity Church, New York, the Royal Archives at Windsor, the Royal Collections Trust, and Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, the Virginia Historical Society, the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation, the Yale Centre for British Art and Peterhouse, Cambridge. D. H. Robinson. Magdalen, Michaelmas, 2019. Introduction. 1. The Venerable Head. The Reflections of Ezra Stiles. O England, how did I once love thee? How did I once glory in thee? How did I once boast of springing from thy bowels, though at 4 descents ago? Thus Ezra Stiles, president of Yale, theologian, philosopher, sometime lawyer, and silkworm farmer, tried to make sense of the rending of the past decade. The occasion was his sermon on the general election in Connecticut on the 8th of May, 1783, the first since the outbreak of war 8 years earlier, but also part of a tradition that stretched deep into America's colonial past. Stiles's oration that day was as much the fruit of the latter as the former. He recalled a set of assumptions about Britain's place in the world and America's place in Britain that had, a short while earlier, been shibboleths of British-American political culture. In the rapturous anticipation of thine enlargement and re-flourishing in this Western world, how have I been wont to glory in the future honour of having thee for the head of the Britannic-American Empire for the many ages till the millennium, when thy great national glory should have been advanced in then becoming a member of the universal empire of the Prince of Peace. And if perchance in some future period danger should have arisen to thee from European states, how have I flown on the wings of prophecy, with the numerous hardy hosts of thine American sons, inheriting thine ancient principles of liberty and valour, to rescue and re-enthrone the hoary and venerable head of the most glorious empire on earth. Times had changed, but even after the agony of civil war, revolution and secession, Stiles could not bid his final farewell to the British Empire. Now farewell, a long farewell, to all this greatness, and yet even now, methinks, in such an exigency, I could leap the Atlantic, not into thy bosom, but to rescue an aged parent from destruction, and then return on the wings of triumph to this asylum of the world, and rest in the bosom of liberty. Stiles placed his retrospective almost entirely in the context of European geopolitics, in Britain's advance to a universal empire, in the threat posed by the other powers of Europe and America's entanglements, whether part of the British Empire or not, in the European world. The sermon was a panegyric on the advance of the United States to glory and honour of its own, entirely in the spirit with which Thomas Jefferson had concluded the Declaration of Independence. But, like the Declaration itself, Stiles's words recalled an old world at the same time as they conjured into being pastures new. And there was more than a faint hint in his words that nascent America, the asylum of the world, might itself be the re-enthroning of a familiar, still fondly remembered vision of British supremacy in international affairs.